What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team. What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for understanding me being out on Friday. They'll probably talk to Ray about it, so you guys can learn from it as well. Super sad. For those of you who don't know, my best buddy passed away from childhood and unfortunately was addicted to drugs, and that's we can probably spend a whole session on that. Mr. Ray, what's up, brother?
What's up, Wes? Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
How was the workout?
Brutal. Grueling. But it's great. It's this place that does it's only like personal trainer led workouts.
Yeah.
So Sarah and I go 3 times a week and we do a couples workout, which is great from like a Gottman relationship point of view. It is great quality time.
Hell yeah.
As Ryan Chalupa Cabra Alexander said all those months or years ago, it's like activity-based quality time.
Yep.
And it's like unlike, for example, going out and getting drunk or eating pizza, it conforms with the program.
Right.
The Rhomas program. So it's just awesome.
Hell yeah, brother. I was wondering if it's cool with you if I bring 1 or 2 of the guys on just to have a little quick goal check-in.
Absolutely.
Cool. And Ray, if you have those headphones by any chance, because I'm hearing that background, but if not, no sweat.
I think it's just the AC machine. Let me know if.
No, it's not. It's when I'm talking. It's like a reverb. Something's vibrating. Let's see. All right, I'm going to invite some of you guys up here. If you have a chance to share one of your recent wins or challenges, feel free. If you don't have time, no sweat at all, dudes.
I've got a recent win.
Let's have it, dude.
So I've been working for like a year to get legendary funk and funk and soul 70s icon George Clinton from George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic up to Toronto, because he's a painter now, and a friend of mine represents him in an artistic capacity in the US. So it looks like he's going to come up. I'm going to do a show of his paintings, and he's going to perform at my gallery in September. I have to drive to Nashville next Sunday to pick up a crate of his paintings, but it looks like it's going to happen. So that's
no shit, man.
That'll be like the biggest, that'll be the most high profile exhibition I've done in my gallery. So that's a personal, professional win.
Dude, hell yeah. Can I comment on that?
Please.
I have noticed, man, that the whole like cliche quote, like think outside of the box. It's amazing actually how easy it is. And it's amazing how many people say like, yeah, think outside of the box. It's also amazing how many people don't do it. Like literally don't do it. So in my industry all the time, just people follow the same script. But then I did a handful of years ago, I did a Dancing with the Stars Orange County, and this guy who ran it, brilliant. Like you have some of the most richest people in Orange County attend this thing. You couldn't get them on the phone if you wanted to, right? But they will go there because their wives want to go. They want to go. It's something different. And all of a sudden you have 300 of the richest people in the same room, and they all know your name, like the guy who put it on. So hell yeah, man. Right. Great job.
Thank you.
Right, dude.
Yeah. And it's like so many cliches come to mind, right? It's like luck is the combination of opportunity plus preparation.
Yep, exactly.
Right. So like you're not lucky if you get to do your elevator pitch to one of those people. It's opportunity plus preparation.
Yep, exactly. And dude, oftentimes the quote that I'm reminded of is better not to be better, but better to be different. So, and Kaizen could probably appreciate this. Kaizen, have you ever studied Dan Kennedy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
of course he has.
Yeah. One of the things I learned from him Yeah, Kaizen's like that. I've never really seen the Matrix, but from my understanding, the way the Matrix works is like there's like a download. Like he just like downloaded a bunch of shit like about fighting and all that stuff. That's the way I see Kaizen. Just like downloaded like the world's information. So Dan Kennedy, one of the things I learned from him was I think he talked about, I think it was either the highest margin or maybe the highest grossing. I have a suspicion whether it's the highest grossing, but let's say highest margin jewelry store in America was at a horse track. Because number one, there's no other jewelry stores there. But then number two, a bunch of the guys who would lose money would feel bad. So they would buy their wives jewelry on the way out. So it's not necessarily the jewelry was better. It's just that it was different. It was in a different location. So Ray, that's kind of what I'm reminded of you. It's like better not to be better to be different. Cool. Jordan, what's going on, brother? Long time no talk. What's some win or struggle that you're going with?
Actually, real quick side note, it's so funny that you brought that quote up because I have this journal that I use from Amazon. It's called the Phoenix Journal, and there's a quote every day. And today's quote of the day is, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." So good timing on bringing out that quote. Man, things are going pretty well. Actually, the gym I talked to you about a few weeks ago that I've been kind of like going to a bunch for whatever, like I finally put in some hours there and like been helping out a little bit more around. I've been talking to some of the coaches about some paths forward on trying to just figure out what my thing is going to be and how that could incorporate things at the gym. I just started, since I don't have any, like they can't hire me as a coach because I don't have the credentials, but I'm trying to build a community there to like let them know who I am and whatever. And so they let me, and by I worked with them a little bit, but I'm hosting what's called the Embrace North Book Club. That's the name of the gym. So I just hosted a book club and I got some people to sign up and I'm announcing the first book today. And so that will help me just get in front of people. And with my public speaking, just not being great, like I think that'll be a good way for me just to go lead some book club meetings and get myself in front of people and speaking more.
Oh, dude, spot on.
So yeah, I'm super stoked for all that stuff. I just started my 8-week training for a mountain bike race I have coming up in September. So yeah, it's mostly good things here. I got some family drama I'm trying to, sort through and figure out. But I mean, that's just always going to be there, and I can't really control it. So I'm just trying to control how I react to it and how it affects me each day.
Yeah, no, well, and just so everybody knows who hasn't heard of you, the credibility score on your forehead is enormous when it comes to weight loss. How much weight loss did you experience? How much weight?
Actually, as of the other day, I'm down like 106 pounds or 110 almost, I think. Yeah.
And how long have you kept it off?
I've kept off over 100 for the last 2.5, 3 years-ish now, officially.
Yeah. And then, so when we're going to start, we have like, dude, I think it's like 90 episodes stored. And I'm trying to hire somebody to download this and put it all on, the iTunes and YouTubes and all that stuff. So when future people hear about this, if you want them to reach you, if they need help in that area, how can they contact you? Email? What is it?
Instagram, jordan.fisk. You guys see my name on here. You can reach out to me on there if you guys want to follow me. I'm starting to finally post a little. So my end goal, I think, is to be a mountain bike coach and add fitness into it, because mountain bike, that's where my passion is really surrounding. But the fitness piece of it is so huge because you can't be a good mountain biker without being really fit. So that's kind of where I'm going. And I'm finally starting to release some more content that I think it's valuable. I'm not really like trying to like get people to give me likes or anything. I'm just trying to put out, like we talked about on the podcast, just things that I feel good about. I look at it, I see it, I'm like, cool. That's something I'd want to see. I hope other people can get some value from it.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you mind if I throw a piece of not advice, but advice that was given to me? Can I pass it on to you?
Please, yes, please.
So one thing, and Kaizen could probably comment on this. So if you're like what I hear of you is like super niche, lost 100 pounds, super into mountain biking. If you can go on Google and check out, there's something like jump rope guys or something like that. The point is they're crazy niche. Like I think they just talk about jump roping, something like, and fitness via jump
rope.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. So if I were in your shoes, what I would strongly consider is don't reinvent the wheel. If you want to go super niche like that, literally just go and model what they do. like fitness through mountain biking, fitness through jump roping. Like I would literally just go and look at their website, look at their sales funnels, look at everything, and then just replicate it. Literally, like that's what I would do. Obviously, don't like copyright anything, but like go and put your own spin on it, but copy the infrastructure, quite literally. You don't have to go and spend years trying to learn it. I promise you, man, like it's right up your alley. It's a slightly different niche. And then for those of you listening, Jordan.Fisk on IG, Jordan is actually spelled a tiny bit differently than at least I originally knew. So it's JORDON.FISKE on Instagram.
Well,
cool.
Thanks.
Dude, brother, keep on going after it, man. I appreciate sharing the win. Kaizen, what's up with you, bro?
I just had probably one of the best weeks. I got to have my son with me this whole past week. So we went and did a whole bunch of activities. We went to like playgrounds and these parks and Chuck E. Cheese and got to do a whole bunch of stuff with him.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
How old is he, Kaizen?
He's 2.5. He'll be 3 in January.
That's awesome.
It's crazy, like how to watch from a outside perspective, the growth that can happen just like that. Like I've been showing him Spanish videos, and just in like a couple days, he's able to count. Like I've been taking Spanish lessons. I hired a tutor. I have an audiobook for Spanish, and I'm trying to learn because my girlfriend speaks Spanish. She's from Mexico. My son is able to count in 10, up to 10. He's saying other words. He's saying like full sentences within like a few days of watching videos. It's crazy like how fast they pick it up.
Oh, it's wild, dude. And Kaizen, if you don't mind me giving you a compliment, I was talking to a parent recently, and we were like, the child was not behaving properly, and it was this dad, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess that there's a certain percentage of the pie that children pick up on through osmosis, not through what is just said out of your face hole into their ear holes. In fact, I would imagine that it's probably the majority of the pie is what the father, let's just say it's father-son relationship, what the father represents and the strides that he takes every day and what he says. But if he says and doesn't walk the walk, it's like good fucking luck, man. And again, it's one of those things that's easy to say like, oh yeah, no, it makes sense. It's like, well, why aren't you doing it? And in Kaizen, I imagine that you embody, like I would say from an outsider's perspective, I can see that you embody that stuff so your son can acquire it through osmosis.
Yeah, that's like my number one motivator for anything. Like, because I think about like how I kind of grew up and the things that I had to kind of deal with or like figure out is the biggest thing. And going off of like what you said, like you can say things, but there's been studies that show it's like 80% of all communication is nonverbal. So you might say one thing, but your actions, your body language, your tonality, the way you carry yourself, everything else might be saying something completely different. Yep. So once you have like the alignment of all that, that's when what you're saying and doing and acting and being actually means a lot more, because it's one focused, like laser, whatever you want to call it, of attention, of goal, of power, of motivation, of whatever you want it to be, going towards something. And that's something that like I've noticed that when we go places, people like gravitate towards that. They gravitate towards that type of energy, like the certainty, the confidence and things like that. Like no matter what industry that you are in or apply that to, that's something that I think that's kind of like universal. It's
without doubt.
Wild.
And Kaizen, if I can pay you a compliment as well, like you joined this group at such a high level. I mean, like Wes asked you, have you read this book? You've read it. Wes asked you, do you know this like mantra? You know it. But you're proof that you never get off the path of progress, right? Like you've told us how you used to live in Las Vegas and get into all kinds of trouble. And through self-mastery, I love seeing you unlock this Jedi part of the puzzle, which is like the fatherhood and like raising good sons to be good men. And I just love seeing it, man. You got your own business now. It's like you're just proof that like it's a lifelong pursuit of quality that we're on. And we talked earlier about, Wes, you talked earlier about getting out of your comfort zone. And Jordan, you mentioned that too. And I think that's critical.
Hey dudes, sorry for the interruption here. Just wanted to let you know, if you want to join our pro team, go to romasteam.com/pro. You can help support the channel. You will also get access to exclusive content, masterminds, one-on-one sessions, etc. All right, back to the episode.
That's a critical part of being on the path of progress. I think it's, I suspect it's like, if you're not pushing yourself, if you're in your comfort zone, you're not really challenging yourself. You're not really learning. You're not really growing, you know, and it's all over Instagram. You can hear these inspirational quotes. Like I heard David Bowie talking about it in this little clip on Instagram streams or reels or whatever it's called, where he said something like, swim out just past where your feet can touch the ground, just where you're a little bit scared. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the creativity happens. And and I think that's an important part of the pie. And I imagine, Kaizen, if you didn't have a perfect Leave It to Beaver father-son relationship growing up, like, you're probably out of your comfort zone with your son, right? Because from what I understand, you weren't there on a daily basis for the first couple of months of his life, this young man, right? So like, I just love seeing, like, you're so proud of this little soldier, and like, you're posting pictures on like rides and having fun, but also like mentoring him. And so I just love to see it, dude. And and to weave it into the discussion of your friend Joey, who passed away. I love seeing you, Kaizen, raise to the level of your magnificence as a man. You know what I mean? Because like, you got the bod, you got the career, but it's a holistic whole man that we're trying to shape here. And that expression, helping you, like the way we help each other rise to the level of magnificence as a man that we're supposed to achieve, is something I learned in recovery, in Narcotics Anonymous, through my my sponsor. He said, like, part of getting clean is like not just quitting drugs, but living clean. And I think maybe, Jordan, there might have been like food addiction issues with you, or just like using food to escape, right? The way I used alcohol first 7 years ago, and then drugs up to 2 years ago, cocaine to escape, right? And probably like to have a ripped bod like you have, Jordan, probably requires a bit of discomfort, right? And like not escaping all the time.
Oh yeah, man. No, absolutely. And the awesome thing about what I look forward to when having a child is the extreme disproportionate view they will take, just like all humans take, but I imagine especially as kids. If dad messes up once, like the focus is on that. You know, that's what I'm going to guess. You know, so Kaizen has an extreme responsibility and therefore opportunity to bear that cross of like making sure all of his shit is in order. Because no matter if he does it 19 out of 20 days, and then all of a sudden, you know, and Kaizen, out of respect, I won't ask your son's name, so you don't have to say it on the internet. But you know, little Timmy sees Kaizen.
His name, the kid's name is Wizard, I think. He's totally okay with everyone knowing that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I would imagine, Kaizen, and I would love for you to speak to this. Like, what degree have you upped your game as a result of knowing there's a constant spectator on you?
So I've been wanting to say this book a lot because of how, especially like recently, I've listened to it probably 3 times now. I sent Ray a copy of it. It's called Levels of Energy by Frederick Douglass, I believe. And it's all about like a lot of the things that we kind of talked about.
Was it like called Levels of Energy?
Yeah, Levels of Energy. You can find it on Audible. And okay. I'll see if I can find the link. I'll post it on the Discord too.
Thanks, bro.
But that's one of those things where it's like everything that you're doing kind of compounds and it all builds together. So like I was having a talk with my girlfriend the other night about, she works in quality, and I used to work in quality in the manufacturing setting, did Six Sigma, Kaizen training, all that. Nice. And I say like quality and sales are 2 things that they have their own division in companies, but it's something that everybody should be kind of like working on doing, being consistent, being able
Kaizen,
to.
can you define quality for us in the job context?
Yeah. So like in the manufacturing setting, for quality control, it's you're being able to have measurable results that you can reliably reproduce on a consistent basis. So like when people do it like ISO 9001 as an example, what you're doing is you have a process for everything down to like literally like every step. You can measure how long it takes from somebody to make an order, how long it takes for you to process everything that's part of that order, how long it takes you to put the pieces together for the order, how long it takes for you to like produce, package, and ship it from the time that they order it until it's done. And you have timestamps for all of that, and you're keeping track of everything. So on a quality standpoint, you're wanting to make sure that you reduce the amount of mistakes that are made. And if you do make mistakes, you want to find like the root cause of that mistake. So that's something that no matter like if it's in manufacturing, if it's in like any type of industry that you're in, there's that core element that you can apply in your life. It's like, what am I doing that's keeping me from being like the best possible version of myself that I could be? Like if I'm coping instead of thriving, if I'm using drugs and alcohol to make myself feel okay in this moment, does that help me long term? Or does it, like, if I drink on a Friday night, am I not okay? Am I not 100% Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Or like it might be longer than that, because you might like mess up your sleep schedule. You have to like readjust. You have to lose a couple of days of productivity. And if you do that on a consistent basis, it could be like, okay, instead of reaching my 100% potential, maybe I'm only getting like 40% because I'm having to step back up each time to get back to that base level that I was at originally. So in like my case, what I've done is I'm trying to find, and I'm doing like personal audits of my life and like things that I'm doing. I'm like, where am I spending too much money? What am I spending money frivolously on things that I could cut out and it wouldn't hurt me that much? And it would have a better ROI in terms of like what I'm using that money for, what I'm using that time for. Like the time thing specifically is a big thing. So like delete TikTok off your phone, delete these apps that are just time sucking apps that you're not producing anything. It's not helping you. You might get like a dopamine spike from it, but you're not actually like gaining anything from it. Whereas when people look at like their screen time, it could be like hours in a day. And if you think, okay, if I took those same hours and applied them to building skills of things that could help me in my career, like learning a new language, learning a new skill set, like coding, learning marketing, learning video production, sales, whatever, what could I ultimately become if I just did, if you spend an hour a day, that's 7 days a week, that's 7 hours. In 7 hours, you can learn there's videos on YouTube of like learn JavaScript in 7 hours.
You can fly a plane in 7 hours, you know? And Kaizen, what I think is like, what's so useful about the vision board and the list of goals that Wes kind of showed us is that it's real simple. If you're confused as to whether TikTok is good for you or not, just like take out your goals or take out your vision board and ask yourself, does watching TikTok align with my goals? Does watching TikTok get me closer to this stuff on the vision board? And so it's real simple. Like it's a real simple binary way to do that personal audit.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And Jordan, what are your going on the journey that you're going on, given what Kaizen is referring to? And especially Kaizen, thank you so much for bringing up Six Sigma. So for those of you who don't know what Six Sigma is, and Kaizen is an expert at, I am not, I just know at a conceptual level. Essentially it's Six Sigma, you're a certain six standard deviations away from the norm of errors. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get so precise in your analysis of what's going wrong and fixing it that eventually it becomes what's called a Six Sigma event. That it's like, it's so microscopic of an error. So when GE, I think is one of the major companies used to implement this, right? That when they used to push out products, they only want one error out of, let's say, 1 million, whatever that number is. And Kaizen can probably speak more to that. But using that in your life, I wish more relationships went through I would say sophisticated business processes, because human dynamics and human communication is actually not as complicated as people think. But if you slow down on the error and then you zoom in on it and clearly define it, then therefore give you power to reduce the error in the future. But most couples won't do that. They'll just say like, oh, whatever, Kaizen's a dick or whatever that is, right? It's like, no, let's slow down. Let's zoom in on what happened. When I said this, you took it this way. Okay, how can I say it differently? It's fucking tedious. But then all of a sudden you get an excellent corporation, like a well-oiled machine. Kaizen, anything you would add to that?
That like whole taking a step back and like breathing. I think Eben Pagan had a program called like Getting Altitude. And that's basically what the whole thing was about, is like you're taking like a higher perspective on things and trying to see like things from an outside perspective. So like if you were a character, like third person GTA view, how would you want that person to react or act in given situations? And you're trying not to be reactive, you're trying to be proactive. So you're trying to be calm. That's a big thing, especially when you deal with kids, because kids are an anomaly a lot of the times, and they don't always listen 100% of the times when you tell them to do things, or they might do stuff that you're like, no, don't do that. And that you have to not get mad. You don't want to like blow up and yell and scream or God forbid, be violent. So you have to remain calm. And there's a lot of different things that you can do. Mindfulness meditation, like the breathing stuff. I think Jordan had talked about the breathing exercises. I think that helps a lot. And also like it's mentioned sometimes, but I don't think it gets mentioned enough. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Yep.
That whole book is basically like you can find Zen in everything. It doesn't have to just be walking in the woods and stuff. Like it can be like washing the dishes or like focused attention into the things that you do. So kind of like what you were saying, there was a quote that's in like some song, but they took it from some video or something, but they were saying like, if you were trying to shoot at the moon and you were off by like 5%, 2% or something like that, and you start going, like the further out that you go, the further off from what your actual goal is. And that's why like the whole Six Sigma, the whole like refining and auditing and checking in with, okay, where am I at? How am I handling this situation? What are my goals, actions, thoughts? Are they all in alignment, or is there one thing off that's kind of like throwing a wrench in the gears of this like complex machine? Because everything in your life kind of like works together.
Yep.
People will say like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're like slacking off on your diet, you might be slacking off at work. If you're slacking off in your sleep, that might affect you in other areas of your life. So you kind of have to like balance all of these kind of things together and just keep constantly doing audits. Because if you had a company that you were investing $20 million in and there was mistakes going on, you would be like, okay, I can't do this. I have to fix this. Well, your life is worth more than $20 million, because if somebody were to give you $20 million, but you don't wake up tomorrow, you're like, nah, I'm not taking that deal. So treat yourself.
That is so good, Kaizen. I mean, unfortunately, this isn't the Kaizen show but I could listen to this guy for a full hour. I don't know about you, Wes. This Absolutely. Guy's a fucking guru. But I really want to bring it back to what you experienced this weekend. So the way I'm going to bring that back, Wes, is I'm going to ask Jordan, on your journey of personal improvements over the last year or two, are there people that you had to cut the fishing line from, or whatever, cut the umbilical cord to, people that were enabling your bad behavior? These aren't bad people, but these are but they're people who couldn't join you on the journey of excellence.
Yeah, certainly. There's been quite a few people. There's a girl that we actually met on a dating app, but we just clicked like as friends. But like when she come over, we just smoked pot and just watched TV nonstop. Like that's all we did. Anytime she came over, that's just what we did. And eventually I was like, she'd be like, hey, you want to hang out? And like, I'm a people pleaser. So I want to like, be like, oh yeah, like let me get my friend time in. But that was preventing me from doing anything else. And like, we were eating shitty food, ordering out delivery all the time because we weren't going to cook. And like, it was just a toxic friendship. And eventually I was just like, I was like, hey, I don't think I really said much about it, but I just kind of started distancing myself, and she saw that I was just like doing more, and she didn't want to do anything. And so, we just kind of cut ties. One of my exes, one of the reasons I split from her, she just didn't want to do anything. I found myself like giving her so much of my time that could have been spent doing just so many other productive things. Because same with her, we got into this rut of smoking all the time and like just not doing anything. And like I can smoke and be productive, like those things can exist, but when I'm with certain people, they just don't at all. And so there's been a few people who, mostly just people who wanted to smoke a lot and like not do anything. Like I like to still do things. If I'm gonna enjoy something, still want to like do other things while I'm doing that. I don't
100%. And we have to, and like on the journey of recovery, and Wes has talked about this before, that like the path of progress overlaps really well with people's journey of recovery out of alcohol, out of addiction. And like we have to replace, I know with alcohol and drugs, cocaine in particular, like I had to replace the bad habits with good habits, right? Mm-hmm. And like my brother Frank, who was my best friend, partner in crime, I haven't seen him in 2 years, and we're still estranged. And it's not because, and part of it, I mean, and I don't want to assign superiority to myself, but part of it is that he is, he's not compatible with my personal mission to save my life. And you kind of like, dude, you were probably like cruising to a heart attack, right? So it was like Jordan, you were on a personal mission to save your life, right? And
yeah, that, I mean, drinking and all, I used to drink excessively, like daily, just drink all the time. And then it's moved into smoking, and, now that's kind of fading off too. But getting out drinking was the biggest thing. That helped my physical health more than anything has, I think, just cutting that out for the most part.
And so Wes, like, how did you juggle over the years? How did you juggle your relationship with Joey, where it was clear to you that like he is not on the path of progress with you for whatever reason, and forgiving him for his demons being stronger than his willpower?
Yeah. Well, so number one, a couple things. I have to have what I call the weird disclaimer conversation all the time. Like literally all the time. I just had it last Wednesday. Somebody asked me to play golf. I barely know this guy. So I went into like a 3-minute explanation of how like my goal is to be the best man on earth. He's like, dude, what the fuck? But I was like, my goal is to be the best man on earth.
It's just golf, bro.
I literally pulled out my goals binder and I said like, here are my goals. Here's the cardio-based activity. These are the only 3 cardio-based activities that I will do. If you want to do one of those things, like hell yeah, I'd love to bond, but golf doesn't fit in there. No disrespect towards golf, but I can't do it. He's like, all right. like moved on with his life. Yeah. So I have to have that weird conversation all the time. Funny enough, people really appreciate it. And then they're like, oh, well, like, that's interesting. Maybe I should start doing that stuff. So with Joey and Kaizen, and you, Ray, can probably appreciate this. So Jim Rohn, I've been listening to Jim Rohn since I was literally, I think, 14 years old. And one of the things that he says is you can spend time with people, basically all of your friends, but you have to put it in the right slice of the pie. So for instance, with Joey, it's like, okay, I can't spend 3 days with him, right? I couldn't spend, but maybe it's a phone call conversation. I moved out to California, like all those things. So, and then my role changed with Joey. My role changed it was to be a coach years ago, but then I realized he was getting it was too hard on him. So then eventually it was just to be a support person, just to listen to him. And eventually you can build yourself up to be so strong of a man that, and it's not that Joey was weak, I'm not saying that, but like he held victim to his demons. So strong of a man that those demons will not impact you, if that makes sense. But if you, and only you can judge that, if you are weak yourself in that certain area, then sometimes you might just not be able to go. Like Joey could not go and help one of his other drug addict friends. There's no way. Like, and he tried to do that repeatedly. And then guess what happened? He was too weak in that area. And then through osmosis, he would adopt like that same shitty behavior. So I guess that's my answer is like, number one, being on the path of progress, like always work out every fucking day so that you're fighting the demons that are just at your door that you can't see. It's that great quote. You do not rise to the level of the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. So I try to, a lot of times I suck at it, but my goal is to train every single day as if there's going to be a fight later that afternoon. And I don't care if it's a demon fight, if it's a human fight, it doesn't matter. It's like at some point you are going to be challenged. The shitty thing is you don't know when that's going to be, period. So you either train every day like it's going to happen, because there's one thing for sure. It is guaranteed to happen. There is no doubt about it. Jordan's saying right now he's going through some family chaos. You're either fucking trained for that or you're not. You either train your physical body and your mental body or not. You do not have time to then go and make up the last 6 months of inactivity. So yeah, Jordan, you're spot on. Don't hang out with that fucking girl. Or you ask her, hey, you either change or we got to get away. You can come back when you're ready. That sort of thing. Unfortunately, that's how it has to be. And that's actually for you and it's for them, right? People need in their lives other people who are willing to operate on that path of progress, period. So Ray, I hope that answered your question.
It did. And as usual, you covered 12 other topics that nobody was asking about. Yeah. But there's something else. When I was going through, there's another part of this which weaves into addiction and weaves into drama, right? And it's growing up in a big family, it was absolutely verboten to put yourself first, right? Putting yourself first meant greedy, meant selfish, right? But in recovery, I was taught to put myself first.
Yep.
All my other buddies that I party with, all my other buddies that are still doing coke and still drinking, that I want to rescue and say come, or Jordan, maybe all your other buddies who are still drinking and have a big belly, and you're you want to bring them over and to the top of the mountain as well, right? But you have to put yourself first.
Yep.
The path of progress comes first. And it the scorecard that Wes developed, it changed my life. Every day, I realized that it's not safe for me to get behind the wheel of a car unless I've meditated for 10 minutes. Yep. It's not safe for the pedestrians and the other people driving, because I put myself first. I do my scorecard before anything else, and that sets me up for success. And so there are things. So I think, Wes, at some point you had to put yourself first over your desire to rescue Joey, and you had to turn it into just compassion and then just having love for him and just being there for him if he wanted to talk. But you can only carry yourself, really. Now, Kaizen, as you know, when you get into the father or husband role, putting yourself that's more complicated, right? Where you have these kind of sacred obligations to your kids and your spouse, but still putting your I still think put yourself first. When it comes to the path of progress and doing the right thing, I still think you can put yourself first in the sense of putting the oxygen mask on yourself first before you attempt to rescue someone else.
Yeah, because I don't think putting yourself first is synonymous with putting yourself first, only think about yourself. So putting yourself first can mean the first hour of the day or 1 hour out of the day. You make sure you rebuild your body, whatever that is. It doesn't mean put yourself always. So Kaizen, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is spot on. That's something I think I've struggled with in the past. And I'm not going to be I figured it out. I don't have that problem anymore. There's still things like that happen with my family where I try to hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to change your diet. Hey, you need to do whatever. And it got to the point where I'm I can't make them do it. So I have to kind of lead by example. And I think that is a kind of a big motivator too, when it comes to being there for your kids, being there for your spouse, being there for your family members. It's one thing to you want to help them. It's another to just be the example and live it and be it. It's because I think a lot of people might take it the wrong way. If you're trying to help them, they might see that as an attack on them, and they'll get defensive and they'll try to justify what they're doing instead of you you need to do this, you need to do this, and pushing it onto them. You want to kind of like pull them in to what you're doing. So living a lifestyle that's healthier and being able to have fun doing it, like cutting out bad habits like that doesn't mean that you can't have fun. If anything, I think it makes it easier too, because you don't have the excuses the next day of, oh, I'm hungover, or oh, I'm all fucked up from partying and staying up late and blah, blah, blah. Instead, you get to be the one that, okay, if I want to be able to have a cup of water and I want to fill somebody else's cup up, I can't do that with an empty cup. So I have to make sure my cup is full first. So how do I do that? I make sure my diet is okay. I make sure I'm working out every day, that the workout not only helps my body stay strong to where I'm able to live longer and be able to help these people around me that I care about, but it also helps me stay calm. I'm not going to freak out. It's a form of meditation in itself. So it's like a bunch of different things that you're able to do just with that one little thing. If you can do nothing else, do 30 minutes of exercise, and boom, all of a sudden things start to kind of like fall in line. There's a book that I just went through called The One Thing. Yep. It's on like Audible and Amazon and stuff. And that's the whole thing is you take care of the one big thing, that if that thing is like a domino and it knocks over all the little dominoes, if you knock out that one thing, that it makes everything else easier. And I think if that's the one thing that you can focus on, is probably like your health and your exercise, because that will make your mood better. It'll make you more productive. It'll make you calm and more confident. It's like everything else, I think, kind of like falls in line after that. If you knock out that one little thing, that'll help the rest of your life. And then you can kind of use that same mindset for other little things in your life. So if it's like, I want my family to be healthier, or I want people that I care about in my life to be healthier, how do I do that? Well, I have to do it first, and I have to do it in a way that it's not just like I'm doing the bare minimum, I'm doing the basics. Like I think about like when I go to the gym, I want people to feel like when they go, like Michael Jordan talked about when he would play games, he would play his heart out in case somebody had came to see him play. He didn't want somebody to go to a game that he played at and be like, oh, he was like slacking off and not doing it. So that's how I approach every time that I work out. If there's somebody there in the gym that's watching me work out, I want them to be like, damn, like that's possible.
Yep.
That was me when I was like 20. I saw dudes that were just fucking jacked and they were doing workouts that I was like, I can do that. So if you can do that for like somebody, it doesn't matter who, if it's one person out of like 10 times that you go to the gym, that's a huge impact you just made on their life. And that's something that you can do every time that you go and work out. And it helps, like the ripple effect on that is just like, it helps your life,
unknowable,
family, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, go ahead, Wes.
Well, I was going to pass the ball over to Jordan to go off of the Jordan analogy. Jordan, what would be, if you had to guess, what was the one thing for you when you lost that 100 pounds, and or what's your one thing now?
For losing weight, I mean, the one thing was just, diet and exercise. I mean, those are like key. I mean, I couldn't have done it without just dialing in my diet and my exercise, just being active every day. And like, I thought fitness meant something else before. Like I thought fitness was going to the gym 3 times a week for, 2 hours or, whatever. And I just learned, recently that like, I just need to move and load your body. And just, I do a lot of different activities now during the day. Like I rollerblade, I jump rope, I mountain bike, I road bike, I throw kettlebells around. Like I just want to move my body in every way possible so that to your point earlier, so I'm ready for anything. I can, if I'm falling off a fucking cliff, I can, hang on and save myself. I want my body to be able to do whatever it needs to do. So, my biggest thing then was honestly just finding the right diet and exercise and then staying consistent with that. That's the key. And now my biggest thing I'm trying to work on is just setting like the right schedule for myself. Like I was waking up early, like 5 a.m. for a few weeks and like getting like really good sleep, going to bed at night when I should. And I was noticing like an improvement in my mood, everything. And then it slipped one weekend, and I've been slipping for like 2 weeks now. And today I finally stopped that slip, because that morning time I found is like where I can do all those tasks, kind of like the checklist and my journaling, my meditation, all those things that just kind of take time, but aren't like physically straining maybe or whatever. Like I try to do all those in the morning before I start my day, because they're just relaxing and they make me feel good. And then I can start my work day, and then I can go do whatever from there. I like working out in the afternoons. I take my lunch break and go, do lifting or, rollerblade or whatever. So when I was missing that morning time, I was like, oh shit, I have all these things now that I need to find time during the day. And I was missing not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And so I found out my one thing right now that I'm trying to conquer and battle is to just get to sleep on time the night before, because I don't want to rob from my sleep, because sleep is important. But I want to be up at 5:15 at the latest, because that's where I want to set my time frame to do all those things that I want to make sure I get done daily. And I want to do them in the morning, because in the afternoons, especially in the summer, like it's just busy. I'm training all the time, or working all day or whatever. So right now it's getting up early. That's my big struggle right now.
Hell yeah. Well, we'd love to support you on that. If you can, my vote would be you start posting it to Discord, like Jocko Willenick style, like post your wake up time for the next week or so, whatever gets you back on track. But yeah, just fucking do it. And then I would say, that's one of the things that I'm working on too, is getting to bed on time. If you want to wake up early, get your ass to bed on time. That's the hardest thing. I have noticed there's a transition period. Like my brain will say, oh yeah, but it's midnight now. And you told yourself you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, but I want 8 hours of sleep. So what I have learned is like, yeah, but that's the price you got to pay, because you knucklehead, you stayed up and you did whatever, you goofed off. It's like, well, so suffer tomorrow, but wake your ass up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And then I think Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about this. That's actually the more important thing, assuming you don't keep on doing that. But the more important thing to wake up the same exact time every single day, and then get your eyes into sunlight without any glass in between you and the sunlight, so it starts your circadian rhythm. Apparently, if you want to read more or watch more, it's on YouTube. And give yourself, and I love what you're saying, give yourself the gift of that morning space. Oh man, like when you do that and you have a pure 2 hours or 1 hour to 3 hours on your own just to work on your shit, that's an unbelievable gift. Unbelievable. And then you're done before anybody else is even like, they're barely awake.
It changes everything for me. And like you said, I just have to do it. And today I woke up at 5:20, and so I got after it today, and a few minutes late, but I'm going to take that as a win today compared to waking up at 7:30 the last couple of weeks. So yeah, it is a small thing, but I think it makes a big impact on me for sure.
Yeah. And Wes, awesome. I think that just to echo what you said, and to echo what Kaizen said earlier about the gym, is that Kaizen, when you go to the gym, you're also, one of the benefits that you didn't mention is you're surrounded by people who are on the path of progress, and that's an accountability. Mm-hmm. And then the other accountability we have is when we post pictures from the gym or of our meals or of the scale on the Discord. It's an accountability. When I'm going for that ice cream, I can think, do I really want to post a picture of the scale 2 pounds heavier tomorrow? And so, and in terms of like a drug or alcohol recovery or weight loss or the path of progress, the like Wes talks about all the time, the power of the team can't be underestimated. And so lean into that, Jordan or whoever. Like take advantage of the Discord and even if you're asking questions and no one answers, or even if I'm like putting a picture of my scale, I'm not expecting an answer. It's just I'm recommitting to the group that I'm serious about my weight loss.
100%.
Just by posting that picture.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, absolutely. And dudes, I appreciate everybody being here. And Kaizen, I've never asked you this, but if anybody ever has questions for you directly, if you're comfortable with, if you've got Instagram or whatever, if you want to, feel free to share it. If that's, I'm assuming other people want to talk to you for sure.
Yeah. I have my Instagram and my website. All of it's Kaizen Roger. If you look it up on there, I'll post a link on the Discord, and I'll put my email on there too, whichever one. If you hit me up on any of those, I can talk to you about whatever, even if it's just like I have guys hit me up all the time, like they had a breakup or something, they want to figure out what they need to do, which whatever, it's fine.
Cool.
I've been there too, and I'll give whatever that I can give to help whatever it is that you need.
Yeah. Well, dudes, I appreciate Kaizen and Jordan and Ray. You guys are all examples of like the type of man that I want to be. So thank you for helping me stay accountable and everything, especially talking about Joey has really helped me too. So I appreciate you dudes. You guys have an awesome fucking week.
Yeah,
Thank you,
too.
Wes,
Appreciate all
and
you do.
honor Joey by staying on the path of progress.
Yep.
You know, and honor Joey by showing other men an example of what the holistic full man is.
Hell yeah. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you,
Thank
dudes.
you, gents.
Later.
Love you guys.